What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. This week, I'm not really going to cover much in politics. Everybody knows how insane the crazy left are. I'll just leave it at that. You can find other people that's covering the politics and stuff. I mean, unless it's too outrageous, you know, I probably won't say a whole lot. However, I have seen quite a few YouTubers talk about the Star Trek Lower Decks, which I don't even call it Star Trek, I call it Woke Trek. Because it's not really Star Trek, it's completely two different shows. I do kind of find hypocrisy in some of these YouTubers though that are watching it, because they're claiming it's garbage and everything, but then they're going ahead and watching it just so they can trash it and then get views on it, which is a little bit funny. I mean, you know, you're telling people not to watch it, it's garbage, but then you're going and watching it. So it's, you know, they're still winning because you're still watching the damn garbage ass show. You're still giving them, you know, ratings because you're watching it. Stop. Just leave it at garbage and leave it at that. Don't watch it. That's just dumb. Anyways, Lower Decks, like I said, it's done by Rick and Morty, the guys who do Rick and Morty, and Rick and Morty is one of the worst cartoons I've ever seen. I mean, it's really bad. It's terrible. It's not funny at all. So you can imagine what this cartoon is even. I'm not even a big cartoon fan anyway. I mean, more power to you if you like cartoons and stuff, but I'm just, you know, I grew up out of that. I'm not into cartoons anymore. I think it looks a lot like Futurama. I was absolutely not a big fan of Futurama. I thought it was terrible. But it looks a lot like that. So I know it's garbage because it's Woke Trek. I did watch the old Star Trek animation series a while back, but that's completely different. That was the original Star Trek. You had the original actors voicing the characters and stuff. Completely different. It was done like the Star Trek TV show, but like I said, I'm not really into cartoons, so I already knew that Lower Decks was going to be garbage. I'm not watching it. The other thing I saw mentioned a bit is how Disney Plus is trying to charge like 30 bucks a pop for you to watch Mulan and like Black Widow and such on their streaming service. I'm not giving Disney a dime. I haven't given Disney a dime in years. If I want to watch their stuff, I'll still watch it. I'm just not paying for it. They can kiss my damn ass. Disney has sunk so low, it's not even funny. You know, anything affiliated with them is sunk really bad. It's all become woke propaganda bullshit. And not paying for it. Not for that trash. These movies would be really good if they leave out all the propaganda, the lies and misinformation, and you know, all the, you know, political agenda crap. leave that crap, especially feminism, leave that crap out of the movies, and you'll grow a fan base back again. But they don't listen. They're ignorant. They're brain dead. Bob Iger's a freaking loon. Anyways, yeah, I'm not watching. I'm not paying for Disney Plus. It's just retarded. I think most of their good stuff is done and gone. So without that, let's move on to what I really want to talk about this week. I just got done binge watching a show called The Listener. It's a Canadian TV show. It ran from 2009 to 2014. It starred Craig Olnick, Ines Esmer, Lauren Lee Smith. It's basically about a guy who has telepathy. He goes around helping solve crimes with his telepathic powers. He can't go into deep reads. He can just read things on the surface of what people are thinking at the moment or at the time. Him asking certain questions. Sometimes he'll see through their eyes what they saw. I started watching this show because it was mentioned to me after I'd wanted something to watch, kind of like like Monk or The Mentalist. Lie to Me, that kind of stuff. So someone mentioned this. I'd never heard of it before. It's a Canadian show. I'm not real big on Canadian shows, especially when they took over the Sci-fi channel. They just start putting out a lot of crap that I don't care to watch. But anyway, I went ahead and gave it a try. It's actually not a bad show. The main guy, which is Craig Olnick, he plays a guy named Toby Logan. Now, for the first season, he's like a paramedic, and then throughout the rest of the seasons, which there are 5, the last 4 seasons, he kind of becomes like this consultant for the IIB, which is like a bureau of investigation. Anyways, the first season, he has this, brown-haired woman named Charlie, who he helps, a police detective who he helps off and on. But I kind of felt sorry for the character because she keeps nailing him or nagging him like, he's the one that's involved in all these murders and stuff, which he's, time and time again he proves her wrong, but she keeps coming after him like that. Towards the end of the season, though, she comes around and like befriends him and whatever, and then gets herself killed for trying to help him. His backstory is, when he was a little kid, his mother and his younger brother, they were running from somebody, and she tried to hide them both. Now, he ends up in foster care. He kind of gets this professor who's kind of like a mentor to him, helps him out a little bit with his ability. However, by season 3, the professor's gone. You don't see him again throughout the rest of the show. There's no closure with the brother. You never find out what actually happened to the younger brother, which really irritated me. And then second, you don't hear much about the mother until the very end of, the series. They pop her in at the last minute, at the very end of the show, in the final. and Toby meets his mom, and that's the end. So the show was a little. The main plot of the whole show was kind of off. They didn't really go through with the whole process of what was going on. But the rest of the show, it wasn't bad. I definitely recommend it if you're into that kind of crime drama, special ability kind of stuff. I give it 2 thumbs up. It wasn't that bad. I wasn't really sold on the Toby Logan character. The actor just wasn't all that great. He was all right. And then from the 2nd season to the 5th season, you had this blonde woman named Michelle, who was his partner. She took the place of Charlie from the 1st season, but she kept changing her hair. Now in the 3rd season, she had a decent haircut. The rest of the time, oh my God, it was just god awful. I do not like women with like super short hair. It just does not work most of the time. It's very rare it looks good on them. It didn't look good for Lauren, who plays Michelle. I still recommend it. It's a decent show. Go ahead and check it out if you like that kind of show. Alright, movie holics, let's move on to your B-rated movie reviews. This week is Sci-Fi Week. I've chosen 2 really good movies to check out. They're definitely B-rated. The first one is called Trancers, and it was done in 1984. This is a full moon feature. Most of your full moon features did a lot of B-rated stuff, but most of them were actually fairly decent for B-rated. Now, most of your full moon features went right to DVD or video back then, so there was no like box office numbers for the movie. It starred Tim Thomerson, which Tim is a really great B-rated actor. I mean, I really like him. And then Helen Hunt, which she wasn't famous back then. In fact, this might have been one of her very first roles. Anyways, the story is about a guy named Jack Death, who's like this police detective from the future. He's chasing a madman, which he's calling Dr. something. I can't remember what the bad guy's name was. But he's like a doctor. He knows how to hypnotize people, and he tends to hypnotize a lot of people who he turns into his subjects, who is what Jack Death calls a trancer, because a certain keyword will set them off, and then they go ballistic and try to kill you. Their appearance changes a little bit too. And he usually vaporizes them with his gun. It's like laser gun. Anyways, this evil doctor has traveled into the past, and the council calls him in, which there's 3 on the council. One is gone because the evil doctor has gone into the past and eliminated that council member's ancestor. Now there's 2 more left. Eventually, the second one ends up dying the same way. And then the third one, she, you know, gets Jack Depp to go and save her ancestor. Now, Jack Depp, he travels back in time by, they send his consciousness into his ancestor. He eliminates the evil doctor's body before he leaves and goes back in time. So the evil doctor can't come back to the future. Jack Depp goes back in time, goes into his ancestor's body, and then he eventually saves the evil doctor's ancestor. He gets rid of the evil doctor inside his body, but he saves the ancestor, which is a cop in the past. So he gives him a little bit of a hard time trying to stop him. They run into a few Trancers along the way. Excuse me. Now he does botch the first saving of one of the council members, and of course they get eliminated. But the third council member, the woman, she brings him back and then sends him back into the past again to try and protect her ancestor, which he does. But he only had like 2 devices to send back the evil doctor. One gets destroyed. The other evil device, or the other device that sends him back to the future, you know, he uses on the evil doctor. Of course, the evil doctor don't have a body in the future, so he's gone. Jack is stuck in the past. However, he has his captain who comes back into the past as a little girl. At the very end of the movie, it shows the little girl watching him, so it leaves it off. Now, there are several sequels of this. I'll probably get around to them eventually. But it was a decent flick for what it was. A B-rated flick. It wasn't that bad. The acting was a solid 3. The special effects, yeah, I give it a 2. It was alright, but it wasn't like anything really glamorous or glorious. The overall story, I give it a 3 as well. Overall, the movie was a decent 3. It wasn't that bad. It's a decent watch. I recommend it if you're into that kind of cheesy, fun sci-fi. I give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down. It wasn't bad. It was alright. Not the greatest, but definitely check it out. I recommend it. The next one we're going to talk about is a, I guess you'd call it a creature feature. It was done in 1986 and it was called Critters. Now this one had a box office. It did alright for a B-rated movie, to be honest. It did about 13 million. So that wasn't too bad for a low budget movie. Now it starred Dee Wallace, had Billy Zane in it, and of course the kid, the star of the movie was Scott Grimes. Basically you had some bad aliens, little tiny aliens, who escaped from a prison, and they make their way to Earth. The prison hires 2 bodyguards, alien bodyguards, to come to Earth to stop them. Of course, they land in this small town, and Scott Grimes' family, they get involved because the aliens end up in his house. The bounty hunters show up, and there's a big fight scene with all the little aliens and crap. Eventually they get them all, and they blow up the spaceship at the end that the critters were trying to take off in. And then the bounty hunters leave, and they leave Scott Grimes, the kid, they leave him like a little communicator or whatever, just in case. At the end of the movie, you see 3 little eggs in the barn, so you know there's going to be a sequel because they leave it off. And this is also a franchise. There's several of these too. They had several sequels, and I'll probably eventually get around to them as well. But as far as acting goes, yeah, you had some decent actors in it, so I'd give it a 3. Special effects, I'm giving it a 4, and the reason why is because the special effects weren't all that bad. However, there's one scene in the movie where one of the bounty hunters, they're able to take on the appearance of somebody else. Transformation, if you will. And there's one scene where it shows one of the bounty hunters. The whole face liquefies.
They chose ours.
And turns into this skull, and the blood goes
they hide
into the face, and then the face becomes like the guy he's looking at on this telemonitor.
The dark.
And he becomes that guy. It's a really cool special effect. It's really neat to watch.
They've come a long way.
If you're weak in the stomach, I would suggest watching these shows because it's pretty graphic. But it's such a cool effect. I have to give it a 4. It was a solid 4. Whoever did this was amazing with it. They did an excellent job at the time. But as far as the story goes, you know, it's not the best of stories, but it was decent enough that it was worth watching. I give it a 3. It wasn't bad. It was kind of a comedy, and a little bit of horror mixed in with sci-fi, but it's mainly sci-fi. If you're looking for good cheesy fun, I definitely recommend this movie. Overall, I give this movie a solid 4. It wasn't bad for what it was. Good cheesy fun. I give it 2 thumbs up. I definitely recommend it. That's pretty much all I have for you this week as far as reviews go. If you have anything to say about what I talked about earlier in the video, or if you have a suggestion, probably a gem, a movie or show that I might not have seen, and you would like me to check it out and do a review on it, go ahead and leave your suggestions down in the box below, or comments below. That's all I have for you this week. Until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you just been told.